Want a lick? Psych.
It's Smooth 90.5.
Well.
FM HD Radio.
And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Sign up now to be a VIP. Loyal listeners win $365 every hour for the question of the day. Only on Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio. Join Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio for 3 incredible days of music, empowerment, and family fun. We'll be broadcasting live from the historic Idlewild Resort on Williams Island in Idlewild, Michigan, all weekend long. The fest is held to commemorate and celebrate the history of well-known African-American entertainers and professionals who performed and owned property at the resort prior to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. See live performances by Paul B. Smith, T. Lucas and the Urban Jazz Coalition, Althea Renee and Demetrius Neighbors, Paul Dozier and Margaret Bell, Paula Atherton and New Era, Kimmy Horn, Markeel Jordan, and the incomparable Angela Wimbush. So make sure you join us July 10th through the 12th at the Idlewild Music Fest on Williams Island in Idlewild, Michigan. For tickets and more information, go to idlewildmusicfest.org. Idlewild and Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio. Now that's a match made in heaven.
Gentlemen, I told you who we were going to have today live in the station, live in effect on Smooth 90.5 FM. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Antoine Mckay.
Hi, how you doing?
Well, welcome. And we also have sitting next to him, Mr. Ira Amex.
Hello.
All right. And also sitting next to him is Margie Shabazz. She is the executive producer and co-writer of this wonderful production called Written Off.
Yes.
Well, I am so excited that
Obviously, we're excited.
we try to take care of everybody to come on out here to Smooth 90.5 FM. So tell me, Mr. Mckay, we're going to start off. You have this wonderful production and the writer, and you have another gentleman who has been on Chicago PD. Ladies, I'm going to start with the ladies first.
Right.
Ladies first. Tell us what about this, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, my name is Margie Shabazz, and I am the executive producer, co-creator, co-writer, co-director of Written Off, which is a project that I've been working on with my good friend, Mr. Mckay, for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
He originally came up with the concept, and a few years ago we got together and started just kind of mulling it out, and here we are. With a pilot on hand and looking for distribution.
Wow. Okay. Where did the concept come from?
That's Antoine's story.
Actually, when I was at Second City, there was a place called Corcoran's, which is right across the street, and it was during the presidential election. So it was the speechwriter for Howard Dean had just gotten fired, and he was at that bar.
Okay.
From his efforts from the week prior or so. And he was talking about how, he just didn't kind of know what was next in his life, and he was 48 years old. So, that kind of sparked something in me that there's a lot of people, especially with technology being what it is, and it's wonderful, but it's putting a lot of people who are writers for newspapers out of work, technically, because it's, nobody buys the paper very much anymore. I mean, people still do, and praise God for that, but it's at the same time, it's slowly dwindling. It's going away. So it was interesting to think about what people do when they have to start over, especially when you're 40 years old and you got to start a brand new career. That's a tough place to be, and so that just kind of triggered that idea, and it just kind of snowballed into these two writers who get fired and try to find out what's next. And a couple of years ago, I did a film with Ira Amex here, who's I would say pound per pound top 3 one of the best actors in Chicago. Like for real, like I'm not joking. There's certain people that challenge you, and we talked about this prior, like being on Empire, which was really, really great. Working with Taraji, it was terrifying because she's so good. So good, and it challenges you, and it ups your game, and it makes you better because you constantly have to keep pushing. And Ira brings that out in me, because we've done a couple of films together, and just working with him and seeing just how accurate and exhaustive his work is. It was like when I met him, I was like, "You're Liam. You're the guy."
They've got great chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. When we got on set, it didn't take them long to get warmed up, and I mean, it was, you can imagine, just days and days of just laughter and laughter and laughter, and they're really brilliant, truly brilliant together.
Wow. Okay. So, Ira, tell me what role did you play in this wonderful? Because Antoine has been talking about you ever since you got here, and I'm a little intimidated myself now. I'm intimidated with all these wonderful actors and cast here and directors.
I guess you could say I play the brains of the operation. Well, if you asked my character, he would think that. No, he's a real lucky idiot. But he has a heart of gold and somehow finds his way through. And
Okay.
it's very much a Odd Couple sort of, a spin on the Odd Couple sort of scenario where, Antoine plays Keith, who's very proper and prim and very well dressed and well mannered and.
Him?
Yeah, right, exactly. You've seen me eat.
Exactly. So then my character is a little less than organized and a little less than knowledgeable about anything.
Now, you've been in this industry for quite some time. You've done so many projects. For young listeners that are listening in all across the country, what is it that you want them to understand about this industry and take from it? Because we have Antoine Mckay with Mckay Arts, which he is opening up his theater in September with his wonderful wife as well. And we have young actors every single day trying to get into this industry and having the door slammed in their face, either because they don't have the right projection when they're out there doing their stage work. What is it that you want them to understand? We're going to start with the co-writer and executive director here. Tell us from your eyes. I sat on my first rehearsal yesterday with Victor Gully and sat in, and I'm like, wow, okay, is that how I stage play? And I'm like, no, I don't want to get into that. So tell me.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, being on the production side and on the side that actually makes the decisions with the casting, it's very easy to see somebody, as an actor, the profession is not something easy and lucrative. You don't go into it thinking that you're really going to make a lot of money and be successful. So you've got to do it for the right reasons. You have to be passionate about what it is that you're doing, because that totally translates it, when you go in for an audition. I mean, you can totally tell if somebody just doesn't really want to be there. They just need to check. So
okay. So what do you normally do? Just tell them, okay, I don't think it's going to work out, because I can see it in Ira's eyes. Look, you're at a casting call, and you probably tell them, look directly in their face. Look, you're not going to make it. Step. I can see that in your face. Is that how you are?
I'm rarely on the side of actually making those decisions. I'm usually the guy on the other side trying to get the job. It's a brutal industry. I mean, for both sides. I think the key is that you got to have more than one thing going on. Almost everybody I know that succeeds in any kind of media industry has more than one iron in the fire. Antoine teaches to supplement situations. Margie's producing, and I own a prop design company and a fabrication company, and so you really got to kind of be committed to making ends meet, because the reality is that at any given point, 98% of union actors aren't making a living wage.
Wow. Okay.
That's union.
yeah.
Right. And there's also the misconception that if I act, I will be famous. That's if you want to be famous, then this is not what you should be doing. If you want to be an actor, then there's a way to go about becoming a well-trained an actor that gets to a point where they are constantly working, or they do get opportunities that you can get an agent, you can get a great manager who can fight for you. This isn't about being famous. I mean, it comes with it. If you strike the right chord with the right people, it does, and it can happen. But at the same time, you really have to make sure you're focusing on what is most important, and that's the work. And if you're not focusing on the work, then it's kind of pointless to put your time into it. So.
Last time when you were here, we talked about publicists and PR people. I want your opinion on that as well. Do you feel just getting into this industry, you need a PR person or a publicist? Because everybody in is trying to become a publicist. Oh, I'm a publicist. Okay, what are you doing? And as a publicist, you know, and you can't pull the wool over seasoned actors. What is some of the games that you've seen individuals playing as PR?
Well, if I may, you need a PR person when you need one.
Yep.
And there does come a time in the career when you need one. But in fact, I think a lot of people attach themselves to younger artists, especially, and try to create something that isn't there. To try to get a name out there or get somebody a lot of publicity, but at the end of the day, if there's no meat in the pie, it doesn't matter. So, I think it becomes clear in your career when one is needed, and that is when you have too many things to manage on your own, and you need help sort of shaping and sending your career on a specific direction. But then you're dealing with a product that you've already created, an actual product.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have to come on in. We have had a wonderful spread put out here, sponsored by Atlantis Shrimp House, which is in Maywood on 5th Avenue. You have to come on out. That's right there. Address is 713 South 5th Avenue. The proprietor, Mr. Smith, Mr. D. Smith, he is the one and only if you want to give him a call. I didn't even get a chance to taste the food because everybody, they're like, I believe they ate all the food up. I don't even know what was out there. But if you want to give them a call and want some of this great food, 708-223-8445. That's right. Atlantis Shrimp House. That's right. They provide a wonderful spread for these wonderful actors and directors in here. And we want to have everybody to give us a call at 630-215-8582. 630-215-8582 if you would like to speak to Mr. Antoine Mckay or Ira, or if you'd like to speak to Margie. They are all here to talk with you and help you out and understand about this industry. Each one of them have their own own feel about this industry. So tell me, Ira, you've been in a lot of TV productions and movie productions. What is it that you enjoy about Written Off?
Well, the second I read it, I'm mainly a man of the theater. I cut my teeth and really grew up falling in love with the theater. And film acting is actually a relatively new thing for me, to be 5-6 years old. I read this script, and what I liked about it is the actual story. You read a lot of sitcom scripts that are really geared toward jokey, kind of these act breaks, very clear-cut, concise, formulaic nonsense. But what we have going on here, and I don't want to overstep, but you're dealing with a white guy and a black guy, with for me already makes it a more interesting, contemporary, meaningful story. And what happens with them is so obnoxious, but completely believable. And so what you have is this framework in which a really heartfelt story happens in a goofy situation, and you really imagine that these guys could be anywhere. So in the episodic nature of it, it's exciting to think that, wow, there's this kind of heart behind the creation of the stories, and we can go to Mars with this thing. We can go to we can go anywhere in the world with it. So for me, it was just the quality of the story. And again, and these guys can probably talk a little more directly about it, but I think there's some really interesting sociological things to explore.
And I have to agree 100% because, Chicago is such a unique city. It's so diverse. And, I'm originally from Detroit, and, Detroit has annexes of diversity. However, Chicago, we all live together. Well, we all work together. We're around each other. Everybody is together, and this show is a direct picture of what Chicago looks like. The cast and crew, it was 70% diversity, even building this whole thing together, which was something that it's unheard of. It's something that we I personally, in my 26 years career, have never experienced. So it was really, really a lot of fun seeing that and seeing everybody just come together and collectively build this beautiful picture. And it's so crazy because this story does have so many different cultures in it, but even in that, we just address the issues that at hand as people, which is who we are at the end of the day. We're all the same in a lot of ways. We all have anger. We all have hurt. We all have love. And we all have crazy families. And all of that exists. And it's not even the people happen to be where they're from. However, it's more about being human than anything else. So it's really been a lot of fun to develop this.
Ladies and gentlemen, give us a call right now, 630-215-8582. That's 630-215-8582. Smooth 90.5 FM. We have a wonderful cast here as well. Mr. Antoine Mckay. We have Mr. Ira Amix. And we also have Miss Margie Shabazz. And both of them have brought friends and family here with them, so we're not going to put them on blast, but I'm sure they're out there having a good time. But in this industry, where did you get the title Written Off, Antoine?
Actually, that came from, it used to be called Speechwriters. And that was just a little bit too over the head. It's like, I see this coming a mile away.
It's like, what's that show about?
Right, exactly. But Written Off, the idea of it is, we get to that point where people write us off and forget about us or give up, and you're left in that situation. You go, well, what am I going to do? Mm-hmm. Am I going to just let this sit here, or am I actually going to strive to do something different? And it's so funny that it is called that because we experienced that a lot in the creation of this. Over the years, we had people come in and out, people with money going, hey, we want to do this, but we want to do this. It's like, oh, well, that's not the story we want to tell. Well, that's the story I want to tell. It's like, well, we're not going to tell this story together then. And people will be like, okay, well, we're done with this. See you later. Or people who were in on it would walk away, or because, the collaboration wasn't right, or just the ideas weren't right. Well, I want it to be like this show and like this show. It's like, no, I want the show to be like this show, what Written Off is. And, gosh, it was a hill, man.
Yeah. Really? Tell us about the hill. Tell us the struggle that you have had to go through in order to work with each other, because coming together, it seemed like you two are, all three of you, meshing together, working as, say, best friends. Was it that easy on the set?
Well, with this,
Okay.
Easy. Like, she is so calm to begin with. Okay. She's never gonna have a heart attack kind of person. Well,
I should be. Who's the Debbie Allen?
The Debbie Allen, the leader.
Who's the Debbie Allen from Fame? With that attitude with snapping.
I don't think we had that. There was nobody that, because it wasn't necessary. But the crew of people that we had, everybody knew what they had to do. And if that didn't get done, well, somebody would say, hey, we need to get this done. And then we would just move on, because you should be able to do that on a project. You should be...
Yeah, I mean, it was an experiment of sorts, because I think over the years we've worked on so many productions and met so many people, and we're just like, okay, why don't we do this project and bring together all of the awesome people that we know and see what happens? Mm-hmm. And I mean, honestly, the vibe on the set that week, we had to shoot in 5 days, which it was very difficult. But everyone worked for pennies. Everyone worked flat across the board. Nobody took higher wages. Everyone worked straight across the board, and it was really just a fantastic collaborative effort that I feel really proud about. I mean, Antoine and I really just, made it happen.
Yeah, there was no stress. There was no, it's like, this has to get done. we have to tell this story because I had left a meeting with somebody and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. And she called literally a week later and said, you know what? I love that story. We've got to do this. We're doing it. Period. If I don't care who's walked away, let's go.
Let's do it.
And then we did it.
I'd like to give a shout out to the Chicago film community in general.
Yes.
I mean, along with Chicago being packed full of talent, especially comedic talent, the film community itself, the crew members, and there's a couple of great film programs here in the city, and people come from all over the world to Chicago to work in the industry, and they're really good. I mean, it's just an amazing bunch of people who will jump in and get their hands dirty, help you with your independent projects. It's just an incredibly eclectic, talented, crazy group of people that really will jump in and help you get things done.
Right.
I mean, DePaul and Columbia. I mean, they pretty much provided all of our PAs, our PA brigade. So I mean, the universities, they're really cranking out some great talent.
Right.
Well, next time if you need some PA hand, Smooth 90.5 FM hand. If you need some sound hand.
We need sound.
Hand. Microphones or anything of that nature. Hand.
And
Microphones. So
copy that.
I can't hit no more at 630-215-8582. Smooth 90.5 FM, ladies and gentlemen, give us a call. This is the station that plays the hits. That's right, we have the wonderful cast and crew here from Written Off. They have done so much wonderful work out here in this industry. You have to check them out. Please. Mr. Antoine Mckay, we have Mr. Ira Amix, and we have Miss Margie Shabazz here, live on Smooth 90.5 FM. Is there something that you want people to take from this interview today and learn about Written Off?
It's so crazy. There's so many productions here in Chicago right now, and they're all dramatic. Most of them are dramatic. I am blessed to be working on one that is kind of a dramedy or a dramedy, which is like a comedy drama, which is called Patriot, which is going to be airing on Amazon coming up here in September. But but Chicago is the funniest place on the planet. It is funny. All the funny people come from here. Most of the people you see on TV are like the Colberts, the Corrals, the Tina Feys,
the greatest hits of
Keys.
Saturday Night Live.
I mean,
it's for 40 years.
You're
Go back to Chicago.
Yeah, they're all from here. Okay. I ate at the Billy Goat today earlier. There's so many funny people here, and there's not a lot of comedy being shot here, and so
and why is that?
Everyone goes to LA.
Right, everybody does go to LA. A lot of people pack up and move out there and have great success. I mean, Keegan-Michael Key was here for years, and at Second City, and ultimately he moved out to Los Angeles, was on Mad TV, then he has his own show, and now he's doing very, very well for himself. But he came from here, so we want there to be a comedy-based show here in Chicago, so that we have the opportunity to show off the amazing talent that exists here. So.
Yeah, now, we know that you started off in Second City. Okay, where did you get your start off, Ira?
Oh man, I was chasing a girl. I've been doing stage plays since I was 16 or 17 years old.
Okay,
I was actually a juggler and a clown. I went to clown college right after high school.
Clown college? They have clown college?
They have clown college. It's a really depressing place. But I did that, and I studied theater back at Boise State in Idaho, and then I got a master's degree from Indiana University, and then I worked in New York for about 5-6 years, and now I've been in Chicago for 8 or 9 years.
Okay. And Margie, where did you go? What did you do? How did you get into being a writer, a director? I mean, from an actor to a writer, those are two different fields. And would you ever step out of that writing realm to go into the acting realm?
It's so difficult. I couldn't. I would be balled up in a corner crying because of the critic. Like, what do you mean you don't like my acting?
Oh my God.
So yeah, no. Acting is definitely not my strong suit. And I mean, really, producing is what I do. That's where I shine. The writing is fun, but definitely our head writer Nora Nolan, who's based out of LA. I mean, she brought the funny to this thing. We brought her our last revision of the script, and she just kind of took it and made it exactly what it is that we wanted. But yeah, as far as production life, I started in finance, so I was written off. I was written off at one point too, and I kind of, being a numbers person, budgeting kind of came organically, and then I just started producing commercials and got into indie film and now television production. So, and it's been a claw my way up the ladder situation.
Okay. What is indie film? I keep hearing about indie film. Can someone explain to me what indie film is?
Independent filmmaking. I mean, pretty much anything under like a $10 million budget is going to be an independent film, and it's not ordered by a studio, so it's not Universal or
usually not guaranteed any release
anything.
or any distribution. And that number has grown significantly. I mean, I can remember back in the day when it was like anything under $1 million.
Oh, right.
And this was maybe 10 years ago. But
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have to tune in. And where can they see this wonderful TV pilot? It's coming out real soon.
We had a screening a couple of weeks ago, and we had, close to 500 people come and check out the premiere screening of it, and it was really great. We had some really great feedback, but we've literally gotten about 500 more requests. Like, we didn't get to see it. We're going to do it again. So we're in the process of planning another place to present it again, and hopefully get some more folks out. So we'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah, if you go to our Facebook page, we'll keep that updated. That's Written Off TV.
Yep. Written Off TV on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get in contact with Miss Shabazz, how can I get in contact with you to be a part of one of your productions?
Well, Blue Light Productions, Filmed by Blue Light, is my website, and you can find me there. My email, all my contact information, also on the Facebook website. I'm on Facebook. Friend me.
Okay. And Ira, because you also mentioned to me earlier that you have a prop company as well. Yeah. If someone wanted to,
he does amazing props.
It's amazing. It's ridiculous.
We had a big old semi truck out here. You got tons of props out here. Victor was out here last night.
That guy is hilarious.
He was trying to get some props for games people played. So, hospital stuff, because there was a medical facility in here that closed up. Yeah. So they threw out stethoscopes and hospital stuff. So
the theater is a romantic place. No, my name is Ira Amix. That's me. I'm just kind of a guy and an actor, but my company is called Hero Solutions. You can also find us on Facebook and check out our fun behind-the-scenes props and effects.
And we have the one and only Mr. Antoine Mckay with Mckay Arts.
Yep. You can find us on Facebook at Mckay Arts, or on Twitter, Mckay Arts. You can find me, Antoine Mckay, on Facebook, or at Antoine Mckay on Twitter. And, we have a lot of really cool things coming up. We have our sort of main stage cast doing a run of a show at the Under the Gun Theater in August, every weekend, every Sunday night at 9. They'll do that show, and then that'll lead into the opening of Mckay Arts Theater, along with Above the Law Theater. We're two different theater companies, but we're going to be under the same roof, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We open that in September. So.
Well, you heard it live here on Smooth 90.5 FM. Give us a call at 630-215-8582, 630-215-8582. But give us a call. I want to thank everybody for coming on out to Smooth 90.5 FM, and you are more than welcome here anytime. So I'm initiating you two as part of the family at Smooth 90.5 FM.
Nice.
So I'm going to have to do my research on you two as well. So I'd like to take care of our guests that come into the station. So I got to figure out. I'll do a little bit more research on Mr. McKay.
You can have us back after the first season.
Well, we would definitely do that. Let me know when the first season is, because we would definitely like to have you out and definitely put a good thing. And we're also live in Detroit on 99.1 as well.
Detroit City!
Yeah, that's my other station as well,
Nice.
as well as Atlanta's 94.1 as well in Atlanta. So y'all are listening in. So I need the screen. So Hotlanta, that's right. So, and don't forget, if you want some great seafood, which was hooked up today by Atlanta Strip House.
Yes.
I did not get any yet.
It's
so
better
good.
than Goose Island.
It's better than
Goose Island.
Hopefully, I'll get some. I'll just have to go and get some afterwards. You know, they have frog legs and scallops.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, please.
Yes, and the shrimp.
It's the sauce. It's good.
It's got
To be the sauce.
Live on Smooth 90.5 FM. I want to thank y'all very much for coming on out here, and we're looking forward to having you come back on Smooth 90.5 FM. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Join Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio for 3 incredible days of music, empowerment, and family fun. We'll be broadcasting live from the historic Idlewild Resort on Williams Island in Idlewild, Michigan, all weekend long. The fest is held to commemorate and celebrate the history of well-known African-American entertainers and professionals who performed and owned property at the resort prior to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. See live performances by Paul B. Smith, T. Lucas and the Urban Jazz Coalition, Althea Renee and Demetrius Neighbors, Paul Dozier and Margaret Bell, Paula Atherton and New Era, Kimmy Horn, Markeel Jordan, and the incomparable Angela Wimbush. So make sure you join us July 10th through the 12th at the Idlewild Music Fest on Williams Island in Idlewild, Michigan. For tickets and more information, go to idlewildmusicfest.org. Idlewild and Smooth 90.5 FM HD Radio. Now that's a match made in heaven.
Sexy brother, let me look at you for a while. Thinking about that good love and the way I feel about you. You must know magic, making me do what I do. I can't help it, babe. I can't help it, babe. Can't help it, babe. I can't help it. I'm so in love with you. I'm so in love with you. And it's good, so good, babe. Good. That's why I want to testify. It feels babe. It feels good, all wrapped up in your love. Yeah. So good, baby. It feels good. That's why I want to testify. It feels good. So good, baby.